Alright, starting with a streamer hook. This is Umtex U301, but it's a size 2, 3x long, big streamer hook. I have some uni thread, just 220 denier. I know, serious stuff. It doesn't really matter. As long as you're not breaking your thread, you should be good with whatever you choose to do. You don't need to tie it in super far up, just right there is okay. And you're going to pick out some feathers after cleaning that up. We're going to start with a sort of this cream hackle, cream grizzly hackle. So give us a nice underbelly. I'm gonna try and tie a Deceiver as a trout look-alike. So picking out just 2 feathers that look pretty similar. I might have gotten 3, that's okay. But what we want is this end here. We don't really want any of the down stuff, so we can get rid of that by stripping it out a little bit. We don't need much of the quill, just enough to tie us in. And I'm going to do that with 2 feathers. And I just broke that one. Am I long enough? Good thing I pulled 3, right? Just because that is a little on the short side. So, well, you know, things happen. Sometimes there's just too much pressure. Alright, we're going to clip out the rest of this quill. Now, you have 2 of these things all quilled out. You can take the tips of them, sort of line that all up so the quills just lay right on top. You'll have no problem binding this in. Alright, it's the first color. Second color, we're going to put some yellow in here. Just going to pick out some nice yellow feathers. Don't want them too thick. This fly isn't that big, but we want them nice and skinny in the tip. And I think this one and this one will do, even though they're a little long for what we need. We can always trim them down to the same size. So I will strip out a nice quill body here, and we'll cut the rest of the feather. Who knows, maybe we can recycle and reuse that somehow. Once again, gonna measure the other feather. Strip out a nice quill. Cut that. Stack these opposite sides. Measuring them up nicely so they don't crowd the other feathers. It's going to look nice. Now we need a darker color on the top. I'm trying to go for like a brown trout, so we have the cream sort of belly with that yellow gold streak across the bottom, Now we're going to get some nice gray feathers to overlay the top. Just measuring it up, stripping out the down, or stripping out the excess feather where I don't need it anymore. Clipping the excess from the quill away. We will put these up and stack them. At this point, I'm going to go all the way up to the hook, nose, and back again just to build a bit of body up with the rest of the fly I haven't touched. This will just make the tinsel process a little easier. Alright, now that I'm back here, we're going to pick out some tinsel. I'm going to go with gold just because, you know, the trout have this sort of a golden belly, at least the brown trouts will. Excuse me. And I just grabbed this and sort of pulled it with my thread. Just going to continue the thread down and over the top of the tinsel at least a few wraps. I think I have 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to come forward, trying to level out any blemishes with my hook. Alright, and now that I'm up at the top, I'm going to just wrap the tinsel opposite of the way I did my thread wraps. This will just help me capture it at the tip again in an easier way. So I'm going to pinch this, capture all of it. These 3, 4 wraps. I'm going to pull it back over and give myself a little tinsel wing here. And I'm not going to clip it. I think it adds action. I also am going to add a little bit of this pink sort of tinsel just to give that iridescent rainbow pink line that almost all of the trout or salmonids have sometimes. So, yeah. Alright, so just like with the tinsel, I'm going to grab my thread with my flash. I need to wrap downward over the top of it just a few times and trim just behind the feathers. We don't want this too long, we just want to have a little bit of glitz there. So now we will be stacking some hair. Well, not stacking hair, not in the traditional form. I have some fox fur, some synthetic stuff. I know the original pattern calls for bucktail. I've used it. You know, I think that the synthetic wicks away the moisture and makes for an easier time casting. So I'm going to go with a white belly, a gold bottom, or a stack of gold here, then a stack of this guy, and then a stack of this over the top. Just like a little stack here, stack there, and it will look sort of like a body and head, hopefully. Hopefully, if I'm doing my everything right, it should look that way. So, alright, this is also a example of how I cut this. So I hold this and I come in here with my scissors and I push down against the fabric as I'm getting all of that fur to come out. And now for cleaning. So you're going to grab the back third and leave the front 2/3 almost open and pinch them and pull out. And all of this little fuzz stuff wasn't long enough. It's not going to make the cut. Do it a few times, get all the little fuzzies out. And I naturally sort of have a fork happening, so I'm going to run this stack over my hook. Lost a few, but that's okay. I'll just clean them out of there. That's about good for security. So I'll clip the remainder out. Now, we're going to use some of this brown. Same technique. Hold the top, put your scissors in, apply the scissor pressure down, and cut away. Alright, same technique, holding the back third or so, you're going to just pinch and grab all that loose little stuff. You can save that loose little stuff for dubbing material, it works pretty good. Or make another fly if it's long enough. You never know. Tying this in size 10 or something like that. With little feathers. Could work out. So, that's my first stack. Just going to take a little bit of excess out. Now, for the second stack, it's that longer stuff that's sort of color changing. Now, this, you can see, has like spots of the white fur. I want the darker stuff, to be honest with you, so I'm going to sort of map where I'm going to grab from the back side before going ahead and giving myself a good pinch of it. Once you have it pinched, pressure your scissors down, cut it at the root. Pinch the last third or so, pull all that little stuff out. One loose wrap, two loose wraps, cinch it down tight. Take this tag stuff and pull up on it so the whole pressure comes up and it all doesn't roll with your thread. Sometimes it's a problem, especially when you're doing multiple stacks. Since you already have some hair here, it totally wants to move on the friction point of that hair. But this is looking good. I'm going to clip away my excess, give it a few wraps to clean it up. Then move on to my last stack. This stuff is just gray at the tip and gets gold along the edge. So I'm going to take a nice pinch, use pressure, and get that fur out again. Give it a quick clean. Stack that on top of the others. One loose turn, two loose turns, cinch it down. There you have it. I'm just gonna finish this up, or do a finishing knot of your choice, however you want to do it. I can't even find the tool. I'll show you how to half hitch by hand. If you have enough slack here, you can pull 2 twists around your hand, put the knot, seat it sort of where you want it, and cinch it down. I pulled it out of the vise. I had too much pressure on that knot, so you know, sometimes this stuff happens, can happen. This super long fur stuff, that's longer than my tinsel, I'm just going to rip it rather than doing something about it with the scissors. I think it builds a natural taper where you come in here with the scissors and you make that whole thing look flat, so it just doesn't look as natural. That's why I tear. Clean this up just a little bit more, and we're solid. I'm going to do one more knot. There we go. Boom. Solid. Super glue or finish of your choice. I just have this readily available. If I could get the cap off. Here we go. Alright. Boom, super glue. Super glue. Pull that broken thread around with your super glue. There you have it. Brown trout deceiver. I don't know. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me how good it looks, or if you think it even looks like a brown trout, or what you might do differently. Alright, see you later.